Hey, it's your boy, the Crypto Goon, and shout out to all my crypto goons for pulling up once again. Before we get to Zebec Network, shout out to everybody that ran that Injective play that I gave out 3 months ago. So before we get to the video, let's run that back and show the proof. So I'm looking for an entry around the 50%. That's $7.67. Okay, so I need to break below this 382. Once we break below the 382, I'm looking for an entry in this area right here. Okay, that's where I will feel comfortable buying this. Now, where are we headed as far as to the upside, right? So we know that this is the top, this is the bottom. We're going to reverse the Fibonacci. So as you can see, we came down to the $7.67 range, and we actually had a little bit of pain, but then we came back up right above the 382. So I actually got in this position, and shout out to everybody that doubled their money. The lowest we came was $6.42, but now we're at $14.76. Now, what I've been talking about forever on this channel, the power of the Fibonacci and understanding these chart patterns, it can definitely give you an edge over everyone else, okay? Technical analysis, and then at the same time, understanding the technology behind what you're putting your money into. Now, Injective isn't something that I'm interested in long term. And just to keep it simple, just to give you a simple idea of what Injective is, it's Web3 and DeFi. So just to give you a quick example, it's like decentralized spot trading. For anybody that doesn't know what spot trading is, like the Forex market, okay? Forex is spot trading, right? So, they are a decentralized platform that can provide the underlying technology for spot trading. Just to keep it simple, there are other things that they do. If you actually go over to their website, they work with a bunch of different companies, but for the technology that I'm looking to invest in, it's not something that I'm going to hold, in large quantities long term. I may actually exit my position that I have going pretty soon, but that doesn't mean that it's not the product for you, right? I just happened to see this setup and said, all right, I'm gonna take it, right? And I talked about it 3 months ago in the video that I just played. And if you look at CoinMarketCap, well, 86% of people are bullish on this, okay? Now, here's the other thing. They've also been burning a lot of their supply. So, just looking at this update on CoinMarketCap, 8,000 of injection were permanently removed from the total supply in this week's Injective burn. So a lot of companies will do this, and it creates scarcity and obviously increases the price. But again, this is not something that I'm interested in long term, although their all-time high was 50 was around $50. Okay, so even holding on to it, if anybody got it at $6 and you hold on to it at 50, more power to you, right? But again, it's not a technology that I'm interested in holding on to long term. I like my XRP, XLM, and there's some other projects, really good projects like I talk about that have real world utility that I can actually hold in my hand. Injective, what they have going on with some of these other companies, that's totally fine. But I like stuff that I can actually hold in my hand, like Apple, iPhone, iPhones, these Mac computers and things of that nature, right? So let's get over to Zebec Network, right? I keep getting a lot of people ask me about Zebec Network. See, here's the thing. Zebec is new, okay? Nothing wrong with that. Companies get created every day with great technology. Now, here's the thing, and I talk about this in all of my videos. If you want to know when the dumb money is entering and you're pretty much going to get dunked on, liquidated, right? You're going to become the liquidation for whales. You need to look at Google Trends, okay? YouTube trends on Google Trends, if that makes sense. So I head over to that, right? I always talk about, doesn't matter what the cryptocurrency is, we can look at a ton of them. You want to be in on these cryptocurrencies when they are under 25, okay? As of right now, we are heading to 100. So the liquidation, and as you can see, it says value for this point have partial incomplete data. That is because we haven't passed these dates yet. But when it starts to hit 100, that is when people are going to start taking profits. This is something that whales know, but the average dumb money person that's seeing these things going viral on social media, that's getting these notifications from Uphold and Coinbase, don't know about, right? So you see this large candle right here. there will be a pullback. This is where people will lose their money. And I can go to any cryptocurrency and we can look at the Google Trends. So like, for example, if I go over to, let's look at, let me see. So if I click on like, okay, XDC, right? So if I come over here and then I type in, okay, so looking at XDC, right? So if I go to this chart and let's just look at, so let's look at January of 2025, right? So if I go back to the XDC chart and we find January, what do you see, right? And sorry, I got this chart all marked up. I did a video on this the other day, but what do you see here? January of 2025, right? You see this large candle appear up, it pulls back and then liquidates, okay? So that's the thing that you have to be careful on, especially when it comes to these new cryptocurrencies and you see, these large candles up and you see everybody talking about it. You got to be careful. And this doesn't take away from the technology that they may be putting out, right? Like I actually went and looked up, their technology, checked out what they have going on, this decentralized infrastructure, they have, a cross-border payment set up. They have an app and it's no knock to them, right? But you can see they're fairly new. They only have 250 enterprise clients, right? Payroll, 1 billion in revenue, 138 countries. This is great. 50,000 monthly users, right? But you have to be careful, okay? And I'm not saying that this isn't a great product. We don't know yet. It's new, right? The best thing to do, try out the product, physically hold it in your hands, see who else is using it, see how fast it is, check out their Twitter, watch these things, okay? But to me, right now, I'm not buying this right now because you're gonna get dunked on. It's coming pretty soon. Like I said, you can, check out the Google Trends, match it up to these charts, and every 100% of the time, when Google Trends reaches 100, that is when the liquidation event starts. We don't know if this company really is a real company. This is just a website. I mean, not saying that it's not a real company, but you got to be careful, okay? Because it's easy for somebody to pay influencers, get these things popping, create liquidity, and then rug pull on you, okay? I stick to things that's been around for a while, things that have real world utility that I can actually use today or point to. Like I said, look at it like the stock market. Apple, Google, or ABC, right? Samsung, like look at things, Dell, like Microsoft, look at things that you actually use, that you have been using, that other people are using, that you see every day. Look at it like that when it comes to these cryptocurrencies. You have to be careful with these. And of course, I'll watch it. But this is not something that I'm going to invest in or put money into right now, even though it's less than a cent, because I know I might as well go play, one of my parlays on FanDuel. And instead of doing this, I have better luck over there than with this because it's all, look at this large candle. It maxed out. So this isn't the time to get into this. The time to get into this was down here. Everybody's running to try and jump into this just because it's 1 cent or less than 1 cent, thinking that, you can turn 1 cent and this thing may go to $25 and now, you're sitting somewhere in the Bahamas with your feet kicked up, twinkling your toes. It's not going to happen. You're going to get liquid. You're going to become the liquidity for a larger player that is in the market. That's exactly what's going on here. And in the future, right? Maybe 3-4 years from now, it may do great, but right now isn't the time. Now, if you're somebody that just wants to throw some money in there and hold on to it and see what happens in the future, by all means, do your thing. Just treat it like a meme coin. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody that's looking to make a large gain off of this, it's not going to happen how you think it is, because this is just how these things operate. I've been doing this for a while. That's how they operate, right? Now, if I pull out the Fibonacci and let's just say we go from these lows to this current high, which we haven't had an exhaustion yet, meaning a pullback. So this high could go a little bit higher before the whales take profit. I would wait for this thing to come back down into this area right here. Okay. So I'll draw a line like this. In between the 618 and the 50% before I decide to get in this. This will be the next cheapest price, So I just want to just give you all this information. I hope it wasn't too much. Sorry for the rambling, but this is how I look at these things. That's how I'm able to project what a lot of these things are going to do, because you have to look at the underlying technology and also the chart patterns. There are no chart patterns here because this thing is new and people are rushing into it thinking that they're going to get these massive gains, and some have. Shout out to them. And again, it's your boy the Crypto Goon, the #1 goon, not the two. Shout out to all my crypto goons. Crypto Goon out.